Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bizchicks TV. This is the place for tips, tools, strategies, everything you need to take the hassle out of your hustle and to create and build a profitable business that's fun to run. You know, it's that day. It's Tuesday. The Digital Diva is here. Terry Johnson online from New York City. We're going to learn some really good information about social media, aka media, and digital marketing. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the replay. And without further ado, here's TJ.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful week of talking about marketing and media and strategy and all those good things you need to know today to grow your business online because it's difficult. It seems difficult. And it is in a way, but it is easy. And all of these things that I think about during the week is when I'm on Threads or I'm on Facebook or I'm on LinkedIn. I dip in every places and I look at conversations. I may join in and I may not. I may not, but it gives me I it's like taking the temperature of like what are people talking about? And I don't mean, hey, Indie Soup Media, hey, how you doing? So it's really to help us wade through this ocean of information that we're in now, and the ocean of information, not just with business, just with life, because we all have these devices. We have these devices, and it's a lot. So I discovered this week. I don't know how I discovered it this week, but I came across a book, and because I was doing a search about algorithms, so I'm calling this the algorithmic era because we're in it. We're in it. Remember when people were crying about Instagram, show us our chronological, and I'm like, that's not going to ever happen again. The people that are crying for chronological from 2014, 2015, I'm not sure the year when Instagram said no more. We have an algorithm, which now we know is AI generated. It's not people, it's AI generated. And the algorithm, which is a bunch of code, I'm going to give you a definition, decides what you see when you go in the app in a particular time and place. Because it is by time, it is by location, it's by it's a whole bunch of I think last week I said gumbo. It's a whole bunch of stuff. So last week we talked about culture, because it's important. It's important to think about what people are doing and saying and feeling in the moment, because those people are your customers.
Right.
This information, this attitude, this feeling does not stay the same. What was said last year does not apply this year. And remember, last year we were all into ChatGPT, generative AI, and now it's sort of become like not a topic because it's been integrated into our lives little by little, and we've gotten used to it. So you ever hear what is the thing about boiling a frog or something about boiling something, and you put it in and you turn the temperature? They don't know that they're cooking. Is it lobsters or frog? I don't know what it is. It's something where you know. Go ahead.
It was a frog
Frog.
in the
Okay.
science class. You can put if you put a frog in water that's already boiling, they're going to jump out. But
Right.
if you put the frog in just nice tepid water, it'll stay there and kind of swim.
Oh,
But you
nice.
slowly turn the heat up, and he'll cook.
And won't know that he's cooking. So that's really what this is that the temperature's been turned up on AI. It's been around for longer than ChatGPT came out, which just happens to be a nice little interface for us non-geeky, non-scientific people to understand. But the scientific world, the geeky world, tech world has been doing this for a while. They've been AIing for a while. So we were like, yeah, okay, whatever. But then they sprung this ChatGPT on us, and we were like, wait a minute. So, but your algorithm, how and basically just how you use the app. And when I mean use, you pick up your phone, you tap Facebook, you tap Instagram, whatever, and you see what you see. That is the algorithm. So let me give you a definition before I go on. So the definition I have is, okay, algorithm now. An algorithm is a step-by-step process for solving a problem, accomplishing an end. It's usually used in scientific and mathematic terms, but it's a set of instructions that outlines a series of steps to follow in order to solve a problem or to achieve a specific goal. It is a systematic approach to problem solving that helps guide the process towards a desired outcome. So that's the algorithm. That's the official definition. But why the way it's used online, and especially with social media, is because there's so much information. And that information is content. That content comes from us, the people that goes and we go and download the app and we start typing and saying and um, going live and spaces and podcast links and this videos and reels and all of that is a lot of content. It cannot be shown as is. Think of and Brian Fanzo came up with this. I thought it was a great analogy. He was talking about Twitter, but he said it's a fire hose of information. A raw fire hose of information. So do you want that hose that the firemen, when they go to put out a fire, that's the full force power of water, which is very strong. You don't want that. So these apps, which are corporations, they're not charities. They're not here to serve you. They're here to serve their customers, which is the people that buy ads. Remember that. So they cannot serve you all of that full force of content because you won't be satisfied. It won't be a satisfactory experience. Okay. It won't be pleasant. So they can't do that. So what do? Algorithm. And what is the algorithm? A step-by-step procedure for solving a problem or accomplishing an end. So the serving of content, that's the algorithm's job, serving the content.
Oh, so it's like you can't eat the whole tub of ice cream at one time.
You can, but you get sick. It won't be a pleasant experience.
No. Right? And they were going to save you from yourself and not they'll give you a couple of scoops, maybe a bowl, but you're not going to get the whole tub.
No, because it will make you sick and you will, whatever the reasons, it's not a pleasant experience. So the social media apps we got to give the user a pleasant experience. The person that's coming for the first time or the 100,000th time, they got to be happy to where they come back. And if I serve you all you can eat buffet, but speaking of that, real quick, I was watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. They had the episode where they went, Larry David and JB Smoove went to a all you can eat buffet, and JB Smoove was like, it's all you can eat. I think we talked about this before, but he was like, it's all you can eat. So he ate. Like, he got up for his 5th plate of crab legs, and the owner came running out, was like, no, you cut off. You're banned. Whereas Larry David had his 1 plate. And Larry David told him, was like, don't go up there. He was like, where are you putting this food? And it was because it was all you can eat. The only reason why he was going getting plate after plate after plate wasn't to satisfy hunger, because he had satisfied hunger with the first one. His response, it's all you can eat. That was it. It's all you can eat, and I'm going to eat it all. And just because he saw it and wanted to eat it, that was the only reason. So I think when I think of that, I was like, okay, that's how some things are happening with social media. Is it can't be all you can eat. They're coming out, the owners coming out and going, okay, especially with the sidetrack with the minors with their inability. The minors are JB Smoove. They have an inability to know their limit and stop because it's there. Right? And children do that with a lot of things.
You said it's all I can eat, and I'm going to eat it all. Okay.
And Dr. Todd says, fat boys, all you can eat. Yes, that video. That's it. That's the concept simply. I mean, we got the scientific and, we got the technology and what they're doing. We don't need to know how the algorithm is set up or how it is coded. That's what the tech does. And thank you, Dr. Todd. I always try to say excellent analogy. I always try to think of it in simple terms, because you say algorithm and people go, what math? I don't want that. So I always try to explain it in like, okay, these are terms. So JB Smooth is the minors. Larry David is the adult. So we as adults, we know I'm like, okay, on the weekends, I'm really not doing anything on my phone that's work wise or social media wise, unless it's a breaking news story or whatever's hot this week. Like whatever the thing that's hot this week is the royal picture Photoshop thing that's over there. So that's what's buzzing. So I hear that buzzing. But that's what it's about. So JB Smooth is the minors, the teenagers who can't get enough. TikTok is their buffet. They're eating and eating and eating. The owners are coming out. President Biden might come out and sign this thing, and people are panicking, and it was a mess. So that episode, I watched it last night. I just thought about it. I was like, that's really what it is. That the algorithm is there to say, hey, you can't eat it all because it's an unpleasant experience. It's not right. Pick your lane. Pick your lane. Because Larry David was like, well, that's not right. You're not hungry. Why are you? And the other side of it is, well, it's all you can eat. It's there for the taking. But that's what I mean. It's like it's there for the taking. Content is there for us, and we're getting into this election year. We're getting into this area of propaganda, misinformation, blah 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 blah. So I say all of that because how did I get to this point? I saw this article on NPR, and let me bring this up. Article on NPR about a book written by, I think he's a New York Times or New York something author. And it's not a slide. Let me bring it up. I'm gonna put it in the link. Put the link in the comments so you can look at it later. Okay, so let me get the link to put in, and we are gonna talk. I'm gonna play a little bit because there's an audio section. Okay, yeah, did I put it there? So this is NPR. Technology, how social media algorithms flatten our culture by making decisions for us. So I read this article. I went and investigated the book. I did not read the book. Sorry, I had one of my little tools summarize it for me, so I don't have to read it. Also, this article is talking about it, and I was listening to what the author was saying. I was like, he's wrong. I understand where he's coming from, but he's wrong. So let me play a little bit of let me see if I can get it to queue up because I wasn't listening.
This is Fresh Air. I'm Tanya Mosley. Depending on what corners of social media you're on, chances are good you've heard this earworm of a song by the group Ocean Alley. It's all about baby. Well, that's all up to the algorithm. Writer Kyle Chayka has been thinking about this for several years. In his new book, Filter World, How Algorithms Flattened Culture, he writes about how we are fed algorithmic recommendations that dictate what music we like, how we interpret the news, what movies we consume, even what foods we eat, clothes we wear, the language we use, and the places we go. And Chayka argues that all of this machine-guided curation has made us docile consumers and flattened our likes and tastes. Kyle Chayka is a staff writer for The New Yorker, covering technology and culture on the internet. His work has also appeared in The New Republic, The New York Times Magazine, and Harper's, among other publications. Chayka's first nonfiction book, The Longing for Less, A History of Minimalism, was published in 2020. Kyle Chayka, welcome to Fresh Air.
Thanks so much for having me here.
This is a conversation I wanted to have for the longest time, so I'm really excited that you're here. So almost about a decade ago, I guess, we could basically go on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter and scroll through the posts of everyone we followed almost chronologically, especially in those early days. Now, most of what we engage in, as you write in this book, is content flowing through the algorithm, optimized for engagement, and pretty much devoid of the human touch. What changed about 8 or 9 years ago? I guess that was around 2015, 2016.
Yeah, in the earlier era of social media, most of the feeds that we were interacting with were linear. So that just meant they were chronological. They ordered all the posts that you saw from most recent to oldest. And that was just how everything was filtered. You could see it on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And over the past decade, most of those feeds have switched to being more algorithmic or more driven by algorithmic recommendations. So these are equations that measure what you're doing, surveil the data of all the users on these platforms, and then try to predict what each person is most likely to engage with. So rather than having this neat ordered feed, you have this feed that's constantly trying to guess what you're going to click on, what you're going to read, what you're going to watch or listen to. And it feels like a kind of intrusive mind reading sometimes.
I could see how all of this can make us passive consumers, but what do you mean when you say the algorithms are flattening culture?
I think algorithmic recommendations are kind of influencing us in two different directions. For us consumers, they are making us more passive just by like feeding us so much stuff, by constantly recommending things that we are unlikely to click away from, that we're going to tolerate, not find too surprising or challenging. And then I think those algorithmic feeds are also pressuring the creators of culture, like visual artists or musicians or writers or designers, to kind of shape their work in ways that fits with how these feeds work and fits with how the algorithmic recommendations promote content.
Yeah, that's why I thought that.
Okay, I'm not gonna play the whole thing. I think it's 36 minutes. I just wanted that part where she introduces him and talks a little bit about the book. And the book is called Flat. What is it called? Hold on. I want to get this right. It's called Filter World by Kyle Shakaya. And he talks about algorithm flattening our world. And I was like, no, because he's saying that the algorithm makes you, I think he said something about force feeding or feeding people. And that basically what he's trying to say is like nothing new is going to come because we're all regurgitating what the algorithm gives us. And I said, no, because we are people. We go outside. We put the phone down. And once you get out of that world of, I'm on Instagram, I'm on here, there's a whole world of things going around where people are not online. People are not doing things digitally. Or we have interest. Our brain will say that's enough. And that's why I brought up the Larry David thing with all you can eat. And because your brain, your stomach will tell you that's enough. Get up and walk out there and see something in the world. So his book is very, and I read some of the summary and it was like, oh, he was talking about the world, because I think he's a millennial. When you had CDs and musicians made music and a couple other things that he wrote in here. And I put my notes. And he's basically saying like nothing new is going to happen because the algorithm is feeding us. That's what he said. It's wrong.
It sounded like he's trying to tell us that and people are going to create to based on the algorithm so that they can get more likes or whatever. And I don't see that.
Right. He's thinking it's the chasing the cat chasing the tail. Like that tail, and it's your tail, you don't know, but you keep and you go in a circle. That's not what's going to happen. Because humans are humans. We don't follow a set pattern. You might think that you know what a person is going to do, but our brain has like a million things going around where we might go left instead of right. And this is a good example where there's a talk about polls. And I remember from watching like political news over the years from just, from school and our teacher telling us to watch and listen. And they would always say, oh, the poll said this person is in the front running and this person is going to win. And election night comes and what happens?
That person is nowhere in the picture.
It's a totally different outcome. And they based their poll on asking people before they walk in to vote their opinion. What humans do is they say one thing and when they get in there and it's just them and, making the mark, they make the mark that they want. But when they came in, they told you what you wanted to hear, what they thought they should say. But getting in there is a totally different thing. And I'm trying to remember the journalist. He was on NBC years ago, and he died. But he was like the person that everybody followed for political news and polls. And he always would say that polls are wrong. Do not listen to the polls, because people will say one thing and go in there and do another. And he was right 100% of the time. So this guy writing a book based on what he's seeing, like, oh, the algorithm is telling us what to do, and people are just not being creative. He's basically saying, like, there's no creativity no more, because the algorithm telling you where to march and how to march. And I'm like, no, that's not it. That's not it. And I wrote, what did I write down? Oh, I said, is it because your friends are engaging with content, or because the content is popular that you're seeing it? And it's both. And then here's the third option. You might go outside the box, outside, and see something totally different that you've never thought about an interest before, or read a story about before. And that opens your world up to different things. Especially if we're talking about being online and social media. There is a world outside of people thinking, oh, popular high school clique. And high school, oh, the popular people. I'm not a popular person, so I'll never whatever. And we all know that's not true, because that's a set of thinking when you're in that spot. Same thing here when I tell business owners and people, like, because they'll say, oh, well, it's crowded. It's hard to stand out or hard to be seen. The algorithm, the popular people. Kim Kardashian has like 100 million. So what? That's Kim Kardashian. Some of those people aren't real. Some of them she bought, but who cares? Is that your lane? You stay in your lane until you're found. And how are you found in a world where there's an algorithm and generative AI? Where does that information come from? The internet. The internet is still a thing out there. It's not social media. It's not the web. The internet. And people get these things confused. They get the internet and the web and social media as one when it is not. So I read this article, went and round the rabbit hole, and was like, okay, this guy, please stop making people feel more afraid than what they need to be, especially when it is what's going to happen to us, because all the kids are on TikTok, but TikTok is about to be whatever, swept up into the wave of whatever it's going to be. And we talked about TikTok over a year, maybe 2 years, about what's coming. And the people swept up in, well, if TikTok goes away, my business, I don't have a business. And then TikTok, again, is using that fear and telling people to call your congressman and this, or for social media that's owned by another country who's one of our enemies forever. So it's been friendly relations since Nixon, but that doesn't mean they're friends. That doesn't mean things are friendly.
We're just being polite.
It's just being nice.
So the people who are creating, see that, but he didn't see that these media or these platforms go after the people who are being creative, right? Risa Tisa, they went after her because she was creative. She was doing something different.
And the thing about her is, it's been proven by her going on Tamron Hall and doing interviews with Robin Roberts and wherever else she's been. I haven't seen it anymore, but me seeing those 2 interviews was enough for me to say that it wasn't, that parts of it might not be like the elevation of the story might not be all that's there, but her storytelling skills are there.
Correct.
Because she went on Robin Roberts, and I'm pretty sure Robin is a established journalist, very experienced. She's not gonna let something fake come through, or somebody that's not real, without her pointing it out. So by her speaking and saying her things, you go, okay, I see some skill here. Now, what is she gonna? That was my thing. Like, what is she gonna do with it? Now, where are you going with it? So we see that.
Dr. Tachi says, why should your business be so tied to a platform that it ceases to exist when the platform ceases to exist when the platform goes away?
Right. We got a point. You're right. That's why I say when I hear these people screaming about TikTok going away and write your congressman and this, over what? In the app? When there are plenty of other apps out there, the world is out there, people exist. People buy things. Apps don't buy things. Apps aren't your customers. People are your customers. Follow where they are. And we just happen to be talking about social media because that's where they are. We used to talk about going to the mall. That was the thing. That was the spot, the hangout spot, the pop it. You wanted this, you wanted that. It was at the mall. It was at the mall. Now it's not. It's social media.
The mall has gone online. And Mark says, is there anyone waiting in the wings to take TikTok's place? Should it be banned in the US? It is not IG. Will anyone emerge from the darkness?
There will not be. I think I've said this before, and I'm gonna stand on this prediction. This is my opinion. There will not be a replacement for TikTok. There will not be a big app like Facebook or Meta or what. Everything is now a niche focus, and everybody knows that they can find the spot where they feel comfortable and safe. What is the safe space? Smaller communities where I'm not going to be attacked for the thing that I love to do. I always bring up the hot sauce guy with the hot sauce website years ago. Bring up any topic now. And I think I said before that Google Plus was one of the forefront leaders of this interest base, not friends, not family, not the thing about Instagram is, okay, there's a lot of the minor children or younger people are depressed because they see a life that is fake, but their eyes tell them it's not, but it is fake. People going on these wonderful, some of it is real, but most of it is an influencer setting up a scene to see, look how great my life is. I believe a while back, I don't remember what it was, there was some talk about Bow Wow the rapper on his Instagram going to the airport to somehow, yes, entertainment silos, thank you. He went to the airport and somehow got on a private plane and took pictures. Put it on his Instagram. Oh, I'm chilling on my G4, whatever it was. Couldn't find out it was fake. He just went to the airport, got on a plane, took some pictures and left. And they all do that. Remember MTV Cribs? Rented houses to say, look, I'm rapper so-and-so. Oh, I'm this so-and-so. Look how great my life is. And look at my fabulous 50-room mansion. And I got this. Now, some of them do have it. Like one of them is, what is his name on Snapchat? DJ Khaled. He's like on Snapchat all the time in his pool, in his house. So that you can pretty much say, well, that's his house. Whereas we had MTV Cribs where it was a film crew setting up for the day in a rented mansion and blah, 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 and insert rapper, insert popular entertainer here to show on MTV to get the kids all revved up, excited about their brand, when in actuality it was fake.
And they didn't have like, oh, we need to put limits on what we're showing on MTV.
It was all to get the kids in a frenzy, and it worked.
MTV
Spring Break.
Right. We have a comment or a question from Mark. He says, is an alternative to banning TikTok pressuring Apple to heighten their security measures in a way that iPhone apps cannot be used to harvest more than the usual user info? Sorry.
So you mean is it
pressuring? It is the alternative to banning TikTok, pressuring Apple to heighten their security measures so that the phone apps cannot be used to harvest more than usual info. Then he said, sorry.
Okay, so are you saying, because see, Apple has a level of security already. So, but we're talking about the apps, and I'm, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm thinking this is what I'm thinking, because Fran and I always talk about these apps like WhatsApp and whatever, that they have access to your other stuff on your phone. Apple can't control that, because if they did, they would. It would have been done already. So once they have a level of control as far as getting in an app store. But there's also something called jailbreaking there, where people can put apps on their phone and bypass the app store. And Apple cannot control everything where a app gets on and creates havoc. And the thing about harvesting info, getting in the data, that's always going to be a thing. The selling of data, data is gold.
Right. And I think people are trying to get in there. And I don't think that, let me go to his comment first. He said they could control it, but not allowing apps on their phones unless they meet the security measures.
See, Apple already has a level. Isn't Apple being sued by
the people who made
companies? Yes.
The people who made Fortnite, because they put them off.
There's another one. There's another thing about the App Store and how Apple has so much control. So Apple already has a level of control that they have. And what I'm saying is it's like data hack. It's like hacking. There's not 100%. There's no system that is 100% hackable. Unhackable.
Because the criminals they'll figure out a way to try and get around it. They put up another wall, and Apple already got some stuff. It's like
for the good guys, there's a bunch of bad guys. Think about the Nigerians, and I'm not down in Nigerians. I love you, Nigeria, but it's just that they have the Prince scam and this scam, and it's always they figure out once you put up a lock, they figure out another way. So you got to throw up another lock, and they figure out another, because that's the dance of technology.
And it is. I think sometimes the hackers. Oh, let me see if I can get around this. It's like a challenge.
It's a challenge, and there are hackers that and the government has done this. They have hired hackers who've done that because they love. It's the thrill of the chase. It's figuring out it's solving the Rubik's Cube. It's figuring out the puzzle. So these guys are like, if you get the good ones, they'll go, yeah, okay. They'll come work for the government, and the government says, we'll hack this. And it's a test to see how much level of security is on it. And if they get through, they're like, okay, we got to go back to the drawing board and put some more locks on this thing. That's what's going on. It's the door, the lock, that's what's going on. So again, nothing is ever going to be 100% unhackable. Your data is going to be exposed. It's always ever been exposed. I always give the example of going to the mall and they have a car in the mall. You can win this car. Fill out this form. Name, address, social security, not social security number, name, address, phone number, and other things. And you put it in there because you want the car. Now, if you're thinking about it data-wise, which we weren't then, like, no, what are you data harvesting?
Yes, and you willingly gave up that data. Sure.
Because you wanted the car, because you wanted something. So that's what they do today. You want something, name and email. Do like me. I got a bunch of email here.
Oh, and Apple will give you one that is, if you want to block your email and not show it.
Apple will do it. Yes, Apple will do it. I've used that also. They will make up one. It's an intermediary between you and that, whatever that thing is. There's a voice over IP numbers.
Mark says, do you think TikTok will be banned here? Personally, I don't think so. I think the anger of the young constituents or soon to be voters will make them back away from it.
Okay, so I've said this in the beginning that it would be. And that was when Trump was saying it, but I was like, I don't think it was not going to happen soon. I still think it's going to happen because the government has it in the works. It's been in the pipeline. And I know that things in the government take a long time. It has to start at day 1 and it has to end up at day 565, but it gets done. Once it's in the pipeline, it's happening. Now, the thing about they won't vote for Biden, they're already saying that now. They're already saying it now about, about what's going on in Israel or this, that, and the other. They were saying it about the student loan thing, but he took care of that. Now, here's the thing where Biden doesn't care about whether the young constituent TikTok voters vote for him or not. He doesn't care. I'm going to tell you why. This is my opinion. Because what's the alternative if you don't vote for Biden? What's the alternative? Seriously. You vote for Trump? Is that happening? He's in the midst of starting another trial in a week. And I think there's more after that before we get to November. So he's the nominee, presumptive nominee. And it's generally a 2-party system, but you can write in anybody you want. You can write Mickey Mouse on there if you want. That's how America works. But those are throwaway votes. So what's the alternative? So this is really where it's happening. And I always say that I care about the presidential election. I really don't, because what happens with your local government is more important to my daily life in the state. That's important, but it's not as important. So I look at it in a level of importance. But this is my thinking. Because he said that he will sign it, that tells me that they know that there is no alternative. Well, there is. Let's get the illusion out of the way. There is. You could write in if you're a fan of Nikki Haley, you can write her name in. If you're a fan of whoever, you can write their name in. Those votes, they're throwaways because they're not going to affect the 2-party candidates. And again, like I said, who's the alternative out of the 2 major parties? You got Biden and you got Trump. Which one are you going to vote for? And also, there's a contingent of people that will not do anything and stay home. Those, again, those are taken out of the system. So that leaves what we have. Oh, it's already in the pipeline with Congress. It's already there is what I'm telling you. It's already there. They've already talked about the bills. It just has to do the traveling through the House and the Senate.
Right.
That's going to take a long time.
Yeah, he said, I'm not speaking of Biden. He is not the one that will be doing it. I'm speaking of Congress, which, by the way, let's not have people voting on apps that don't know how to email.
But see, Biden already said the White House has said they're going to sign it when it gets through, when it passes through everything. They already said they're signing it. So it has to travel this road. It has to travel this long, winding, red tape government road, and I've seen it up close. I've been in it. Telling you this, if it happens, which is there, the FBI is saying do this, the CIA is doing that. They give each of these agencies give recommendations, and then it gets picked up and it travels down the road. And if Biden is saying right now that he's going to sign it, and it's not ready, but he's saying it now, that tells me everything I need to know. It tells me everything I need to know. But again, this is my opinion based on being a federal contractor, being inside the process, and knowing exactly how the government works, seeing it up close. So, the TikTok threat, the youth threat, it's not. Mine's not. He's looking at it, but it's like, they weigh options. They have people that have think tanks and agencies and committees that sit and do this. Checks and balances. There's another word for it, but I can't think of it. But that's my opinion. Just from me reading and following this for 2 years or whatever. And it's really not that big of a deal because it's just TikTok. Who cares? There's other things to worry about. But it's because the youth is holding it hostage, which it's not really. It's an empty gun. It's empty. Because of the person on the other side of the ticket. So, but these are things that we need to discuss and talk about, because there's an illusion of this does this and this does that, when people are people, and when they go in to vote, they do something different, and it's been proven time and time again. But getting back to this algorithm thing, is that saying it because you see it this way, that's how it's going to be, is not truthful, because people are going to do what they're going to do. We are going to go outside and breathe the fresh air and talk to people and do people things, is the only way I can put this. So this guy in the book was saying, like, because the algorithm is forcing us, which is not true. It's not forcing you. You can disassociate yourself anytime by putting the phone down. So this guy in the book, he said he got off of social media. That's the answer. You step away from it. You look away from it. Same thing with anything that's going on, the political stuff. Step away from it. Turn the TV off. You get a different perspective because you start talking to people. You start going out in the real IRL, in real life. You start going out in the world and seeing how we interact with each other.
Oh, so that means you can step away from the buffet?
Yes. Thank you for bringing it back to the buffet. You can step away from it, or the owner can come out and say, you're banned for life. That's what he told JB Smoot. You're banned for life. You're banned for life. He was like, you can't ban me, and but he's banned. So that's really what it is. When I read this, and because I'm thinking about the algorithm, we're in the algorithmic era. People think that you're being mind controlled, or you're being controlled, that you can't step away from the social media app. The kids can't. Yes, you can. Once you cut that phone off, what are they going to do? Again, I said, if you have minors, you're paying the bill. It's your phone. What do you do with it? Some parents don't want to deal with it. I understand. But other parents are like, okay, you get the phone an hour a day, or you get 2 hours a day, or you get whatever. And you say, give me the phone, or you turn the internet off, or you turn the router off. Why are these things so hard? I don't know why people can't do them, but I'm not going to get into that. But that's what you do. You're the parent. You set the rules. And so that's it. So getting back to this algorithm era, I had some more notes here. Let's see. So a lot of it from this NPR article, they were talking about algorithm feeds encourage users to ignore their personal taste to keep them engaged. Also another one was, where was it? So they're saying that the shift is leading to users becoming passive consumers and creators tailoring their work to fit the algorithm. Now that may be true, but that's not the way to handle this. And I always say, getting back to the hot sauce guy, or the whatever niche that you're doing, you continue to do that, because you're going to be found eventually by the algorithm, by someone real searching, or AI is going to float your boat up to the top. Because that's what happens when you use AI tools. The ones that give you citations, they're getting it from a source on the internet. That's why I say the internet, not the web, not social media. I said the internet. That's still a thing. And there's going to be something else that's going to be built on the internet that's not going to be web. It's not going to be social media. It's going to help with all of these problems and things that are coming up now. The blockchain. That's the thing that's coming. Another part. So that's why when I read this article and I went and looked at the book and got this, I asked AI to give me the summary. I was like, okay, this guy is pretty much not fear mongering, but his result that this is going to be the outcome it didn't sit right with me. So that's why I wanted to bring this up, because there's like a lot of talk about the algorithm. The algorithm controls me.
It seems like he needs to do more research, because he didn't He didn't look at it from all aspects. He just looked at it from his little box.
Right. And there is, oh, is it here? Yeah. Okay. So I went to Amazon to look, not to buy the book, but I went to look at the comments. And I saw one that I want to bring up. Let me see if I can. Yes, I'm going to find the Amazon page. So this is his book, Filter World, How Algorithms Flatten Culture. It came out in January of this year. And there was a comment. Where did I see the comment? Let me, can I zoom in? All right. So, oh, I can't. Oh, I think this is it. So this guy that says too many feelings, and then you can see my Amazon card over here. I'm looking at stuff. So it says while the book is well researched and well informed, Chaka, or Chaka, I forgot how to pronounce his name, relies way too much on subjectivity and personal feelings. He is nostalgic for a time in the past when word of mouth is spread through culture and influences the way we consume media, but does not address or relate how technology is simply an extension of the media. He uses references such as burned CDs and living with some romantic nostalgia. Look of how this was in some way better by constantly reminding you how his subjectivity feels. This book will be much stronger if he left out 90% of the personal addict and kept with the research. So this person is saying like he keeps talking about the yesterdays of burning CDs and the nostalgia days of before the algorithm and things. So which does not help with the objectivity and people starting to notice it. Especially, I always like to go and read the comments and things. Yeah. So, but I just thought it was interesting because we talk a lot about the algorithm and people wanting to go back to, I think they said 2015.
Okay, but how many people want to go back to the outhouse? Come on now, y'all.
We can't go back. We have to go forward.
Right, because they don't build the material. Well, I guess you could get some materials for the outhouse, but they got indoor plumbing now. We can come inside.
Yeah. We got indoor plumbing. Yeah, so there was a lot of stuff in this article. I just was touching on the surface things and what's stood out to me, because basically he was saying like people are making content to satisfy the algorithm, and some are, but that's like I think I said last week about, or the week before, about Vanessa, the YouTube lady that she burnt out because she was doing exactly that. She was
chasing the algorithm. That's it. Chasing the algorithm. Maybe you can do a book, TJ. Stop chasing the algorithm. Just put your stuff out.
That's what I said. But she figured, she was like, she burnt out, like mentally burnt out, because she was like looking at the data and looking at the numbers and, well, this did well and this and then beating herself up because she wasn't getting the likes and clicks and views that won. But you're putting yourself up against something that you can't control. You can't control the algorithm because you didn't write it. Only Meta knows what's going on. Only TikTok knows what's going on. So when you try to game the system or beat the system, or let that overtake you like it did her, it's harmful. Yes, it is harmful. The algorithm is harmful, but what the answer to that is like I said, go outside, put the book down, put the phone down, put this down, take a breather, take a breath, go see a movie, do this, do that, and then come back and say, wait a minute, who am I serving? I'm not serving anybody if I'm a slave to the algorithm. If I'm putting out valuable content that I know is going to reach somebody, not 100 million people, not Mr. Beast. Everybody wants to be Mr. Beast on YouTube. There's only one. Where's your niche? Where's your slot? Where do you fit into where somebody is comfortable, wants to consume your content, feels safe in a safe space, feels like they are being seen? Those are your people. And it might be 500. It might be 10,000. It might be 1,000,000. But what if it's not?
So you're gonna
What
leave.
if it's not?
And so if it's not, are you gonna leave? Are you gonna go back for the few that you have, or you gonna leave them few you have trying to chase?
It's the cat chasing the tail, and you're blaming the algorithm. It's you. And I think I posted on one of my things. I said the algorithm is you. You. What are you doing? Are you liking quality stuff? Are you liking the junk, the ratchet stuff? Are you doing this? Are you searching for new things? The algorithm goes, oh, you're tired of the cat videos. Here's some cake decorating videos because you did a search or you stopped on something that was served to you, and it gauges interest, whether it's a little bit or a lot. Mm-hmm. The algorithms are set up to see what you focus on, you, the user. And it doesn't matter the length. It does matter the length of time, but I mean, the initial interest is, oh, caught your eye with that thing. And this is what Meta is doing, is starting to serve you, because people go, well, I didn't ask for that. And then they go, okay, we'll reel it back. But if it's something we serve you and you've never seen, and you go, oh, that's interesting, and you tap or like or those touches, that's how it tells the level of interest that you have. So if you're trying as a bit, and let's tie this back up, say we're in a business or a brand, this is what you do. You stick true to your values, to the way that you serve up content, and you figure out which way that is. It's not all of the things. It's one thing that you do well, you'll eventually be seen. Why? Because the algorithm is set up that way. Now it is. It wasn't like that before. It was fire hose. Remember, fire hose, all the things at once, so nothing caught. Now, Meta goes, oh, based on the algorithm, I don't know how they wrote it, but they will throw a little, oh, you like you like dancing videos. They'll throw something else in the mix of your dancing videos and see if it catches your attention. If you've ever had a cat, this is what it is. It's like you have a cat, and certain cats don't like certain toys, but you got to buy a toy and you got to see and gauge their interest. And sometimes they like the toy right away, and sometimes they play with it and they don't like it. And you're just like, they just love the cardboard box. But if you bring a cardboard box in, oh, they love that. But you went and gone to Amazon and bought $100 cat toys or whatever, and they don't like any of those, but they like the box. The Amazon box that all those things came in. But you don't know until they throw it out. So that's what's going on. Algorithmic, with the algorithmic era that we're in. And some people are looking at it going, I gotta catch up. I gotta, hamster wheel with whatever's going on Instagram, and then they're losing their minds or burning out or whatever, and they go, my business is dead because of TikTok or because of Instagram or whatever, when there are other things to do. We talked about Pinterest. We're going to talk about LinkedIn. There's other things. There's other places to be, other things to do. So like I said, this guy, okay, great. You wrote a book. I love, whatever, but some of your conclusions, some of the things that you're saying, the takeaways are not, they're that's not going to happen, because people going to people. I always say that people are going to people. That means they're going to do what they're going to do, and you're not going to be able to guess or predict what they do. Because you could say, well, 1 + 1 = 2, but they go and they go do something else that you've never seen or heard before. And that's what this is. Okay, the algorithm is here. AI is here.
See, but they don't realize that the algorithm is chasing the people. The algorithm, just like you said, this you click on something like, oh, I'd like ice cream or whatever, and it starts serving you up different. Oh, maybe you like this flavor or whatever. The algorithm is chasing you.
Yes.
So if you put out your content, if I'm hearing you correctly, if you put out your content when somebody is interested in the type of thing you do, like your cookies, then you'll be served up to those other, the algorithm will serve them up to other
Eventually,
people.
yes, because that's what it's based on now. That's what Meta does now. That I've seen it in all the apps, even with Threads. You go to Threads and you use Threads, and you go to Instagram and your threads are there. Or you go to Facebook and your Instagram reel is there, or your thread post is here. Why? Why? Think about why they're doing that. Why is Meta doing that? They're testing the waters. Ooh, let's throw the breadcrumbs out and see if the ducks like this, or if they like this, or they like that.
See if the ducks like that one.
And then you're sitting, a lot of people are sitting there chasing the view, or they're chasing, whatever it is about. I'll never forget this comment I saw on Threads. I had 30,000 followers. Show my content to all 30,000. I'm like, that's not happening. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Now, if you want that, then that's called an email list. How about work on that? Work on your email list and try to get everybody on your email list to do that. You have a better chance. Your open rates and your response, and based on what you say, you have a better chance. But then again, all these things take work. But once you work out the kinks, and you get the system, and you work it, and you know what to say and how to say it, and when to say it, and where and why, all you got to do is just push the button and let it go. Not automatically now. And I'm not saying autopilot. I'm just saying that, it gets easier because, step 1, do this, step 2, step 3, you got a system. So you don't have to worry about, well, gosh, what do I cook for dinner tonight? Gosh, what do I wear to work tomorrow? Those kind of things. And speaking of that, I just thought of this real quick off my head, and I was trying to remember about Steve. Remember, they made fun of Steve Jobs because he wore the black turtleneck and the jeans all the time, but it was because he's thinking of other things. He doesn't. I don't want to waste 1 second of trying to think about what I'm wearing today because it's unimportant to him. So here's some black turtlenecks and some jeans. So when I wake up, I don't even think about it. I just brush my teeth, get dressed, and go. That's why he did that. Because he was like, I got other things to put my brain power on. I don't really care about that. Just give me some black turtlenecks and some jeans and some Nikes. And he's off. I'm just saying, that's just one of the things. That's just one of the things that's going on. And you wonder why people do that, because that wasn't important. So what's important to us is trying to figure out how to make sure your brand presence is seen and grown. And sometimes that will not be what everybody else is talking about, or we're not spending time on, well, how many likes, my Reels views are down, or how many, what we're concerned about is, well, did they click your link and did they sign up for your email, or did they click the link and did they buy the thing that you had there? If you've got it set up properly, they'll immediately buy. It depends on your goal.
So it's the engagement you want rather than the numbers.
Yeah, the engagement. And then, you're telling them. And then I don't know if I mentioned this. I see a lot of conversation on Threads. I think I might have mentioned it that this person had a website and something happened and they had a health issue. Something happened and they couldn't engage. They couldn't be on social media for like a while, but their system kept working. The system of they had, the content is there, the bio is set up, the link is there, and they were basically doing the job, but she wasn't there posting every day, which again, another signal to me that you don't have to burn yourself out. Well, I got to put 50 posts up a day, or I got to post 10 times a day, or if I'm not, doing this hamster wheel thing, it's not working. When I was like, okay, this is another signal of somebody who set their system up properly, was unable to keep it, put up a recent post or whatever, but their system kept working, bringing them income. Like their thing was selling. Like people were and I think they explained it as, okay, well, there's no recent post. What's going on? Oh, there's a link in the bio. What does that link do? Click on the link. Hey, this is exactly what I need. Click buy. That's what happened. And this ties into the other thing where we were talking about the silent, the silent customers, or the people that don't comment, the silent, I forgot what it was, but that's the same kind of thing that you post and post and post and you go, well, nobody's commenting, but they're buying. Who cares about a comment? They're buying. That's why business owners are here.
Checks are going in the bank account. So let's.
PayPal is pinging, Stripe is pinging, whatever system you got pinging. That was it. So this was another part of it where, they were saying, like, you don't have that doesn't have to be that constant beating up of, I gotta post something, because if I don't post, the wheel stops turning. And she was saying the wheel, it keeps going if the system is set up correctly. So hers was set up correctly. So, but these are, just some of the parts of where we are in the creator economy. You got to learn about human behavior. With this book and this article, I went into some deep places with psychological behavior, some psychological studies, and I was like, whoa, let me get out of this thing where you get into the technical part of human behavior. But that's a part of marketing. Psychology and human behavior, consumer behavior, that's a part of marketing and advertising. Definitely a big part. So that's why I bring this to you.
Right. And TJ brings this to us every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go to terryjohnsononline.com to connect with TJ so that you can stay in the loop on whatever is happening digitally or in social media.
Yeah.
This is
I hope this wasn't too like out there, because I'll hone in on a topic and you're like, what are you talking about? I just want to sell my stuff. And I'm like, well, there's more to it. So I didn't want to get too out there. Like, everybody.
I think it was well done. Thinking that now, to recap, the algorithm is there, but you shouldn't be chasing it. To sum it up, don't chase the algorithm.
Don't let it beat you down. Don't let it, because I see a lot of that of, oh my God, Instagram isn't doing this and that, and I'm so frustrated, and I don't know what, that kind of despair kind of thinking. And I'm like, no. We still got the internet. We still got the web. We still got protocols of email and different things. And more things are coming that will not be social media related, where it's being controlled by a corporation and they have the control and you don't. See? But that's a harder road to travel because it's more work.
Right. That is why you need to get with TJ if you need some specialized help getting your system set up. Like she talked about today, have the system in place. And if you don't, you need to reach out to TJ, Terry Johnson Online everywhere. Reach out, set up an appointment, and get your system set.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about the system, because like I said, the story that I brought up I got from Threads, and when I get little pieces of here and there, I'm like, okay, this is like evidence of it working. And a lot of people getting frustrated with Instagram's not working. I'm just constantly throwing out content, and it's not working as before. That's another thing. It doesn't work the way it did before. And I'm like, well, okay, that's the past. Things change, and it's the algorithm, it's AI, but you got to keep up with, okay, why is this happening, and what do I need to pivot? What do I need to change? That's really what it is. Okay. And thanks everybody for the comments and keeping up with this topic.
We'll get more next week, so stay tuned. We want to do a shout out to Mark Ward. Check out his podcast, the 4-minute walk Mark. Yep. Shout out to Indie Soup. Coming on the scene. Woo! I think it's the 25th. We're launching. Dr. Tasha.
Yes, I think it was the 25th.
I think it's the 25th. Yeah, Mark is talking about his podcast, and the appetizer for tomorrow with Coach Karen is about appreciating the abundance. Coach Karen will be with us next week. I mean, not next week, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Coach Karen is in, yeah. Same time. We always hear at 8. Mark's podcast is out. Dr. Tachi says, yes, Indie Soup is launching on March 25th. So make sure that you reach out and subscribe. She has a YouTube and IndieSoup.com, I believe.
IndieSoupMedia.tv.
Thank you. See, I'm glad you're here, TJ. IndieSoupMedia.tv.
TV.
All right. You can always become a part of the Bizchicks community by texting Biz to 33777 or just going to bizchicks.net. We will see you on Friday.
Yep.
TJ, myself, Terry, and Dr. Tachi, we will be talking tech with Tech Life Weekly. Bring your tech questions.
Happened this week. Yep.
Whatever's going on, you want to get some help. All right, everybody. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll see you real soon.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching and commenting and all that good stuff. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right now.